We are going to get things started. I want to say good morning to everybody. My name is Curtis the Boss Doss, and I'm your instructor for today. And I am super duper thrilled to have everybody here virtually. Hope everybody out there is doing fine, is staying safe. And as we know, of course, on this class, everybody's keeping their social distancing more than 6 feet. So we're all good on that. But just want to welcome everybody to the class. Today's class is Tips and Tools Virtual Transactions. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to click on my screen. So first and foremost, I want to say a special thanks to Connie Lynch. She is, if you don't know, for the two people out there that might not know, she is the CEO of SRCAR, and she has made this free member benefit available to you guys. It is her passion to make sure that we are like the top-notch premier association in all of California, and she's very passionate about bringing member benefits, especially during this time when everybody's kind of on house arrest. So I want to say special thanks to her, and you guys can give her kudos and props for putting this together. Also want to say a special thanks to Sylvia Lemus. She is our executive VP at SRCAR. This young lady does all kinds of great things in the background. You guys have no idea some of the things that that Sylvia takes care of. And also my next person I want to thank, Daniel Brinken, Assistant Executive VP, IT extraordinaire and all that good stuff. And again, Sylvia and Daniel, their staff, they do an amazing job. And again, you don't have any idea just to the level of things that they do. So I want to give a big shout out to those three awesome, important people for making this happen. And we also have Vanessa Reyes on the call. She is also staff for SRCAR. So I want to thank her too for everything that she does. So with that being said, we're going to move on. Like us on Facebook. Here's our actual handle for Facebook. So if you haven't already done that, go on facebook.com/SRCAR, like us, give us high fives, let us know how we're doing. Also, from what I understand, Daniel, this is being broadcast on Facebook Live, correct?
It was, but for whatever reason, we're having technical issues with the Facebook Live, so we're not broadcasting right now.
Alrighty, so we're not on Facebook Live, but still, you can still go by and like our page. So just wanted to give a shout out on that. Alrighty, so do a little housekeeping here. So this is a 2-hour course. It's going to go from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you have any questions, please use the chat dialog box on the right. I'm going to try to be monitoring that and looking over on that, but I've actually got Daniel on the line, and he is going to be my helper on that. So he's going to be monitoring the chat box and seeing if anyone has questions. Now, we'll tell you, as with most classes, I'm sure that you've probably attended, a lot of times the things that I'm covering, if you've got a question on it, I may actually be covering it on the next slide. So, you know, don't fear if you do have a question, and if I go to the next step and your question isn't answered, I'm probably going to answer it on the next slide or somewhere in the class. But in the event that that is not the case, we're going to do a 10-minute break at noon. And on that 10-minute break at noon, that's going to give those who don't have any questions time to stretch your legs, return some emails, things of that nature. But for those who do have questions, that's going to be a great time for us to answer those questions for you. Now, I realize that from 11 to 12, that's a long time. And if we cover something in the beginning of the course that you have a question on, it may be that happened 45 minutes ago. So I just ask that you write down the area that we were in, and I'll definitely go back to that. But in addition to that, I'm also going to stay online for 15 minutes after the class. So until 1:15, I'm going to still stay on. So if anyone still has some other questions that I haven't covered, then we're going to get those taken care of for you as well. So there you go. And then last but not least, some Zoom features. So if you've never used Zoom, or if you're new to Zoom, which I admittedly will say I'm kind of new to Zoom myself, but over the past few weeks, I've been zooming around. We're going to give you a couple of features. So I believe that because I'm the host and Daniel's doing some of the host controls, you probably are already muted. But if you're not muted, you should see that there is ability for you to mute yourselves. Now, the reason that's important is because you'll notice, because I'm speaking right now, you'll notice that my screen is going to show up highlighted. So you're going to see that whoever speaks or any noise that's in the background that picks up, Zoom is intelligent enough to realize, oh, that that person is speaking. So it kind of makes them the center of attention. So if you don't have your mics muted, or if we don't have them automatically muted, I ask that you do that because it'll actually keep pulling you to the front. So that's one thing there. And then also you guys should actually have a participant screen or little icon that you can click on. And that participant icon, it'll show you not only who the other participants are, but if you click on that, it should actually have some features in there that allow you to raise your hand. It allows you to give thumbs up and things like that. And mine's slightly different because I'm in the host mode, but it should be pretty much similar for you guys. And you should be able to see who has their hand up. And if you raise your hand and let's say your question is answered, so Daniel will know, you can also click raise your hand again and it'll actually lower your hand. But what's cool about that is that it'll actually let you be prioritized. So Daniel can see who has their hand raised and things of that nature. It'll also show you if your mic is muted or unmuted. And then I think I have the ability to mute and unmute you as well. And then you guys probably also, you should have under your video settings, if you guys wanted to make a virtual setting, as you can see, some people already have their awesome virtual settings there. I see home guard for Gary. So Gary's representing over there, but you should be able to change your background and things like that. So just want to let you guys know that. And I think that's pretty much it for Zoom. So, all right, we're going to jump into it. So I'm gonna click this a couple of times and get us going. Okay, so we're gonna talk about what you're gonna learn today. So today I'm gonna teach you guys how to make templates in ZipForms. I'm gonna also show you how to make a cover sheet in ZipForms, how to make clauses in ZipForms. So if you've never used clauses, this should be pretty useful for you guys. Also, I'm gonna show you how to incorporate MLS Connect into your ZipForm transactions. I'm going to show you how to electronically sign documents using digital ink and tell you about a new signing platform called AuthenticSign. And AuthenticSign is coming out actually tomorrow. So when you go into ZipForms tomorrow, you should see another drop down. In addition to digital ink and also DocuSign, there should be another thing called AuthenticSign. Now, from what I'm being told, that is going to be beta tested for the next 60 days. And then after 60 days, it's going to become your default setting, but you still should have digital ink available, and you should also still have DocuSign. But I was actually on a ZipForm training, and the presenter that showed it was amazing. It was more robust than digital ink, and it gives you a lot more things to do. So I'm very excited about that. So look for that tomorrow. Unfortunately, I checked my ZipForms today and it's not there. So they didn't put it in there today. They're going to wait till tomorrow and make us wait, but that's coming out tomorrow. Also, I'm going to show you how to add electronic signatures to non-ZipForm documents. I'm going to introduce the 6 new COVID CAR forms. I'm going to show you those forms and show you where they're at in your ZipForms library. And then I'm going to show you some bonus libraries that are in ZipForms that maybe some of you did know these are in there. If you didn't, then hopefully that's one of those aha moments. I love when the class has aha moments. So hopefully this will be some things for you guys that you haven't seen. And overall, I mean, I know that most people on the call have used ZipForms. If you haven't, then I mean, it's our daily thing that we use, but hopefully even to the most educated ZipForm user, hopefully there's at least one nugget, one aha moment, because if I get at least one of those from you guys, then I know I've done my job. And also much, much more. So let's jump into it. All right, so of course, as you guys know, everything is stored on the cloud. And some years ago, ZipForms went to a dual platform. You had the desktop version, but then you had the cloud version. And so ZipForms Plus is the cloud version. Don't think anyone is probably using the desktop anymore, but if you are, you know, no worries. But the cloud version is pretty much the version that is the premier version that's going on right now. So we're going to talk about that. So ZipForms Plus, that's what it looks like. And then when you get in, that's what things look like. So we're going to go ahead and go into ZipForms. So I'm going to go into my ZipForms account here. So there's several ways that you can log into ZipForms. Now, for me, I log into ZipForms through it's kind of like our one-stop shop sign in. So when I go in, I literally just sign in through our association. So I'm going to go out here and I'm just going to go to CRMLS.
Hey, Curtis, right now it's showing the presentation, not the web browser.
It's still showing the presentation, not the web browser?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me see what I can do about that. I wonder if I have to stop the PowerPoint. So let me see if I exit out there.
Dennis, you just go back to share screen and then you pick a different screen.
There you go.
Oh, okay. So do you guys have it now?
Negative.
Still no? Okay, so let me go back. So you said share screen and just pick a different screen. Aha, I tell you. That's where I got my co-host on, and that is Cynthia Nordscock. So props up to Cynthia. So can you guys see it now? All right, good. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to, I'm gonna go into, and actually I don't wanna go into my ZipForms Plus account because that account is a broker account. I wanna show you guys the other account. So I'm gonna log out of this, and I'm just gonna go in from the main screen, and then I'm just gonna sign in to ZipForms through SRCAR, through our normal login. But you can go to car.org and you can log in that way too. I'm just gonna log in probably the way that you guys log in. So when you log in, you're gonna come in and it's gonna have your dashboard. So you're gonna see here that if you click on CAR, then it's gonna bring it up there. And then it's gonna allow you to sign in to CAR. And then I'm just gonna click on access forms. So again, this is probably very elementary to those of you, most of you who already use ZipForms. You probably already know how to get into ZipForms, but I just wanna take it from the most basic user to the most advanced. So we're gonna get logged in here to ZipForms. And again, this is my old ZipForms account before pre-broker because I have ZipForms Broker Edition. It looks a little bit different, but I wanted to make sure that everyone saw the version that you're probably most familiar with. And we'll skip that. Okay, now the first thing that I recommend that you do when you get into ZipForms and you've got some downtime now, some of you, I know some are still very busy, but I think that this is a great time now to put some systems in place. You got some downtime, Daniel, or you have a question?
No, I have a question. So you want to change your screen because it made a new pop-up, so you have to reshare that new screen for ZipForms.
Oh, I got to reshare it. Thank you very much here. Okay, so let me go back. New share. Okay, so I believe that is the screen that I want to share. So did it come up now? All right, thank you, Daniel. Thank you for tech support. So I think that it's extremely important and it makes it a lot easier if you guys do some background work, put some systems in place, and then it's going to make things a lot easier for you. So I am a big fan of working smarter, not harder. And I am smart enough to know I'm not that smart. So I recommend making some templates. Now, if you've never used templates, you're gonna love templates because templates are gonna allow you to do some things that are mundane and rudimentary automatically. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make some templates. So as you see here, I've got the dashboard there, I've got the transactions, and then we've got templates. So I'm gonna click on templates. Now, the cool thing about templates is I can make templates for different scenarios. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click new right here. And it gives you some options. There's a template if I want to make a new listing, a new purchase offer, a new lease, a new lease listing. So for now, let's go with a new listing. So I'm going to go with new listing. And I can enter a template name. Now, the cool thing about templates is I can make pretty much as many templates as I want. So let's say that for this listing template that we're going to start out with, I have a listing, and this is one that's going to be a standard listing. So if I've got a standard listing, and let's say I could even get as specific and say, you know what, and I've got a template for 6% closing costs. And as we get into the forms, you're going to see why this is even better to have it even more descriptive, because there's going to be certain forms in there that now, since you have that in the title, you automatically know that your residential listing agreement already has 6% in it and things like that. So you can name it whatever you want. And I'm also going to point out that the templates can be edited. So don't worry if you make any mistakes or if you make a template and let's say you even want to delete it, no worries there. So this is going to be, I'm going to call this listing standard, and I can actually put, standard sale, and then we'll put 6%. Category is residential. And you notice you've got some options over to the right, you've got scope, you've got personal, global, and office. So you can actually, if you had the broker version, I'm pretty sure in that version, I know you can make global templates and office templates, whereas you can make templates specific to certain offices, or you can make it global to the entire company if you have multiple offices. But for now, we're just gonna keep our scope on personal. So you're gonna go personal, and then you'll notice where it says auto apply. You can have it automatically apply this template to listing and residential new transactions, or you can have it automatically apply this template to all new transactions. Now, of course, since this is a listing template and all transactions aren't going to be listings, I would just leave it at the default and say, do not automatically apply this template to new transactions. You're going to notice something also down below that. I can actually add a template to a template. So I know that's pretty interesting, but you can actually have some things in one template. If you want to incorporate them into another template, you can actually superimpose that data. But for now, we're just going to go with save. So I'm going to click on save. You're going to notice now that it brings up a different screen here. Now, I'm going to move you guys over to the other side here. Move you down to the side there. And now I've got my documents. Now, in my documents, if I click on all forms, I'm going to introduce something else that I think is very helpful, the cover sheet. If you use a cover sheet on your transactions, that cover sheet, if you put pertinent information in a cover sheet, and most, and I say most with a smile, most documents are going to receive that data from the cover sheet. So that information will actually transfer to the other documents. So I think it's very important anytime you're making a listing template or a buyer's template, the first thing you want to do is add a cover sheet. And you notice that the cover sheet's at the top. So added a cover sheet, and then since we know that this is a listing, then we're going to go with the residential listing agreement. So we're going to add that in, and then you can add in some other forms too. So with a listing agreement, you know, you might want to go up to this search field here and let's add in an SPQ. And you'll notice that I can just type in the letters. So if I know the letters of the forms, I can actually just type them in like I did there in that box, and then it'll actually find that form, and then I can actually click on that form, and it's adding those forms to my template. So again, remember, we're working smarter, not harder. So everything that you think that you're normally going to use on a template for a listing, go ahead and add those forms in. And so remember, with the cover sheet, everything's going to go ahead and flow through that. And so we know that we have also some coronavirus. We've got a coronavirus addendum, but let me show you something else that you can do. You can actually just type in corona, and wow, there are all the corona forms that the new forms that I'm going to show you guys later on. So you notice there's a listing agreement coronavirus addendum. Hey, we don't know how long this is going to be going on, so hey, let's add that in. And remember, once everything blows over, you can always go in and edit the template. So for now, we'll just start with these, and then we're going to go over and we're going to hit our cover sheet here. So on our cover sheet, what I like to do is put the most common information in that cover sheet. So I know that I'm going to have at least one buyer, so I'm just going to check the box so that everywhere the buyer needs to sign, that's going to show up. I'm going to scroll down. I know I'm going to have at least one seller. So, hey, why not check that box? Now, this may be going overboard, but I know that I'm only licensed in California. So, you know, property is going to probably be in California. Why not put California in there? We're not going to know the county and things like that. So we're not going to put that in. But remember, this is everything that you know is going to be a constant. So now property information, we're not going to know any of that information, but let's say you even had a particular escrow company that you work with. I actually have made templates that say standard listing, 6% ABC escrow. And so you could actually even put that information in and make a template just for that. So if you wanted that information to automatically populate, you could even have that in there. And so we'll go ahead and just put, you know, independent escrow company or whatever. Now, here's where it's really important. This is going to save you some time. So buyer's broker information, you're not going to know that, right? But you're the listing agent on this because this is a listing agent template. So seller's broker information, well, you're going to know that information, and that should always stay the same because this is your template. So you can go ahead and put in information that you know is always going to be there and pop that information in, because again, we're making a template, and then you're going to see why this is so important, because rather than every time you come up and make an offer, you have to put that information in. Now with the template, all that information is going to be in there. So I'm just going to pop in some information here, and We're also going to talk about too, in the library here, you'll notice that there's some zip codes and things that are partial and things like that. I'm going to show you guys how, if you've ever wondered how to clean all that up, there is actually a way to clean all that clutter up and get that out of there. So we're going to talk about that. So if for whatever reason I do not go over that, remind me guys before the training to go over that. But I'm just going to pop in some information here. Yes, I still have a fax number. Stop laughing. I have it for backup. You never know who wants to fax you anything, so just in case. Okay, and put a license number there. All righty. So again, some of the information you're not going to have because it's a template. So you've got lender information you're not going to know, appraisal information, title information. With title, you know, that's something else that you could type in there. You could have that in there. So you could have, you know, I've got a template that says standard listing, 6%, ABC escrow, Chicago title, blah, blah, blah. Pest control information. So if you're the listing agent, then you probably have a pest control company that you use, and you can even make a template specifically just for that. And then disclosures, you know, you can pop those in, whatever you want to use, because remember, this is the template that's going to help you put information in that you normally are going to have to, you know, put in yourself. This is a template, so it's going to make it easier for you. So once you've got all the information in that you think is going to be a constant, then you can go ahead and click save, and it's going to save, but then it automatically saves once you move between forms anyway. So if I go back to my forms here, you're going to see I have a list of forms, and now I can go to my residential listing agreement. Now my residential listing agreement, it brings up the residential listing agreement. By default, you've got the AD1 and everything like that, but notice what it did here now. Automatically, already in the real estate broker firm, that information is already in there. It's already got the corporate license number and the personal license number. For some reason, it did not check seller there. I don't know why it does that sometimes, but you can check that because remember, this is a template. So you're setting this up so it's going to automatically populate. And then you go through the template. You'll notice that it's already got some key information filled in there. You go to the top here. So we said this is a listing agreement and this is a 6% listing agreement. So the terms up here, we're not going to know any of this information because it's going to be new every time. However, there could be some things that we know are going to be constant. So this is a 6% listing. We're going to check that box and put 6%. Now, depending on how you divvy up that other percent, you can drop down here, you know, 3%, 2.5%, 2%, whatever your broker has told you to do or whatever you decide to do. Remember, this is a template, and you can even put, you know, this is a template that is a even split, however you want to do that. And then anything else that's going to be constant. So, you know, if there's no other entities that normally are going to be signing for that contract and you don't have any obligations, they don't have any obligations or pre-listings with anyone else, no problem. And then here, you can put in, you know, your items, and you guys are familiar with this form. Now, right here, I always put in, you know, there's the MLS that we're using, things like that. And then you can drop down, and if there's anything else that normally you know that your seller is going to pay for, so, you know, structural pest control, maybe homeowners association documents, we know they're going to have to pay for those. And then keep scrolling down. And then once you have everything in there, you're going to notice again, it's got all your information already pre-printed in there. So once you've got that all done, you can go back to my forms again, and you can take a look at some of the other forms. You can see that the information is going to be put in there automatically. So you see there, I've got my information there. Once I'm all done, I've got the template set the way that I want it, then I can go back and go back here, and then I can choose to do a couple of things here. I can save this template, and because it's already done the automatic changes on it, the template is already saved. But if I wanted to, I could add in new forms. So I can go here and go all forms, add in new forms if I wanted to. Or I can just go back to my list now, and you'll notice now that I've got a residential listing. I've got a listing standard sale 6%. So that template is right there ready for me. So I've got all that set. Now, and go back. And I'm not going to go back to my screen as far as the PowerPoint. I'm just going to advance my PowerPoint to show you guys the next step. So we made the cover sheet. Now we're going to go back in, and you guys should still be seeing my screen that's got the ZipForms. Correct, Daniel? Good. All right, cool. All righty. So now we made some templates. So we've got some things set up there. While we're in here, I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you something else here. So you see here, you got clauses, right? Okay, we're going to click on clauses. If you've never used clauses, these are really, really cool. So I already have some clauses made up here. I've got a little tab there where it says personal clauses. I'm going to make a new clause, but before I do that, I'm going to show you guys why these are so important. If there's ever been some verbiage that you use repeatedly and you're like, you know what, I can't remember exactly how I phrased that, or maybe you've gotten an offer and you like the verbiage, and I'll be the first to say I've gotten some really cool offers and I've seen some verbiage and I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna steal that. So I've got some clauses that I've made over the years that I've liked, and so these clauses actually allow you to store those phrases and then you can automatically pop them into your transaction. So I'm going to show you, I've got one that's called training, and you'll notice that in it, I've got a category, it's called training. I've got the clause title, so I call it an avid addendum, and then I've got my text. And so I'm going to click on edit here, and I'm going to show you guys all this text here now can pop up immediately. So someone sent me over an avid and they sent over an addendum and they put all this verbiage in it that, you know, the buyer has provided a CAR form BIW, so a buyer's inspection waiver, and they put all this information. I was like, ooh, I like that. So I made that a clause. And you'll see here, I've got a closing cost clause. And so I labeled the category closing cost. Under it, the title, I labeled it FHA, and then I put seller to contribute $7,000 toward buyer's recurring and non-recurring closing costs. But you can make any type of clause that you want. So I'm going to show you guys right here. If you want to make a clause, you just go new clause, and then you can select from a category that you've already made, or you can create a new category. So if you have clauses for closing costs, and one time you're going to say, you know, I want them to pay for all non-VA allowables, but then the other time you want to say, I want them to pay just, you know, $8,000 or whatever. You can actually come up with your categories like I did. So I've got categories there, and then you can, once you put that category in, so we're going to say this will be a class clause. So we're just going to make up a sample one, and we can give it a title. We're going to call this the Deborah Thomas clause, because Deborah is chilling there with her red umbrella and enjoying the sunshine. Yeah, see, I love Zoom. You can see people. I love it. And we're going to put some text in here. We're going to say, you know what, have a safe day. Now, you can put any kind of text you want in there, and I don't even think that the field limits you on how much text you put in there. So we're going to click save. So now you're going to notice I have a Deborah Thomas clause. Okay, now what I can do then is if I jump back over to my template, and let's say this is something that I always want to have in there. So if I go to my residential listing agreement, I can pull that back up. And this can be done on any of your forms. So, you know, if you're doing an offer or whatever, or if you're writing up something, you see right here where I've got listing terms. I'm going to click in there, and you're going to notice you have a little pencil there. If you guys click on that pencil, you're going to notice that you have, looks like a little scroll. If I click on that scroll, it's going to launch my clauses. Now I can come up now, and you see I've got, that's the class clause, Debbie Thomas, have a safe day, but I can choose from any of the drop downs. So if I wanted to put a personal property disclaimer in there, and then there that disclaimer is, and I click on insert, boom, look what it did. It threw the text in there automatically. I didn't have to try to remember what I said the last time, anything like that. Now that's embedded in there. Now keep in mind, this is on a template. So if I want this to show up every time on my template, then I would go ahead and just click save. And now every time I bring up that particular template under listing terms, it is going to have that. So let's say you've got some broker verbiage that every time your broker is like, I want to see that verbiage in there. Or let's say it's for short sale or things like that. And so I'll show you. We'll actually pull up something that's got a lot of, it's got some space in it. So if I go here and I want to do that clause, again, I'm going to click on that pencil. I'm going to click on the little scrolled item there. And there's a short sale clause that I created, and it's a long one, but it's called a hold harmless clause. So it literally states that the buyer's deposit to be deposited and earn its money within 3 days, blah, blah, blah. And it's a pretty long clause. Now you're going to notice that it didn't put everything there that I had in there visible on that line. If you guys didn't know, on most ZipForms, it is going to create what's called the text overflow addendum. So even though you can't see the rest of the data there, when it prints out on a PDF, it's going to pick up the other data and it's going to actually automatically attach another form called a text flow addendum. So all the information will still be there. But as you can see, it just popped all that information right there. So really cool. I love the clauses. Hopefully you guys, you start using those if you haven't been using them, and hopefully you find those valuable. All righty. So we're going to go back. And the next thing I'm going to show you guys is how to incorporate MLS Connect into a ZipForm transaction. So Daniel, make sure that if I don't show up on the next screen, that you let me know. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually do a brand new transaction. I'm going to incorporate the clauses that we just made. I'm going to show you how to use MLS Connect. So if you haven't used MLS Connect, I'm going to give you a quick overview. MLS Connect will allow you to pull in the listing agent's data into your ZipForms. So you've got your templates. So now you've got all your data that you normally have on your end. We're going to use MLS Connect to pull in the data from the other side, and you're going to see just how this can make your transactions a lot faster, lightning faster. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go to transactions here, and I'm going to go to new, and I'm going to click on new here. So I'm going to go with the new purchase or an offer. So I'm going to click there. And of course, it's going to come up and it's going to ask you for the property name. So I'm going to switch over and I'm going to grab something from the MLS. So I'm going to go ahead and launch CRMLS. So I'm going to go here to new share. Haha, thank you, Cynthia. And I'm going to go share. So now I'm in the MLS. I'm going to go up here to search residential detail. I'm going to find a property for us. So I'm going to go active. I'm going to go single family. Let's go for something in Temecula. And if I pull up your listing and I'm broadcasting it, then when you sell it, you owe me a commission. No, just kidding. Hopefully I'll pull up someone's that's on here and that'll be pretty cool. And we'll just put in some standard parameters here. And I'm going to move you guys. I'm going to move the screen so that I can see the bottom here. We got 6 matches. And I'm just going to pull up a property. So we got Rainbow Creek in Temecula. So I'm going to highlight Rainbow Creek. I'm going to highlight that name, and I'm going to go back over to my ZipForms transaction. So I'm going to go here, do a new share here with you guys, and boom. So now you guys should see that new screen. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste in that name. So I'm going to put that name in there. And then I'm going to click right here on MLS Connect. Now, for the sake of time, I'm just going to switch back over and I'm going to tell you guys what I'm doing. I'm going back to the MLS listing and I'm just going to cut and paste the actual MLS number. And then I'm going to come here and I'm just going to pop it in. And then I'm going to click on the box that says include property photo and I'm going to click on find. So what it's going to do is it's going to go out now and find that MLS data. And it should bring up the picture, and there's the photo as you guys can see, and we're going to click on use existing. So now I've got the name of the property as my transaction name. I've got the image there, and then I'm going to click here for the category. It's residential. And then right here, I've got my template. So I can choose to move forward without a template, but we want to do things smarter, not harder. So now we're going to go over here, and we're going to go to personal FHA offer, standard offer, $5,000 in closing costs, home warranty, 30-day close of escrow. Can you guys see how specific I got with these templates? You can literally get that specific to where you're like, look, I have a template made for every occasion. And of course, if you've got some time, that's the perfect time to start making these templates. You can even, as I'm going to show you guys, you can even take a template that's already built, clone it, and then make tweaks to it. And so you can change it and say, you know what, now I'm going to put VA in there and clone the offer or clone the template and just make some subtle changes and then rename it with the new name. So you don't even have to go through the whole process over again. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that personal FHA offer standard, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and I'm going to click save. Now, once I do that, it's going to bring up all of my information here. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys, and I'll move you guys over here to the side. I'm going to click on documents. Now, because I have that nifty little template there, if I go to my cover sheet here, I shouldn't have to do a whole lot of stuff. So I'm going to scroll to the top. Now, my buyer, we're going to go ahead and put in Joe Buyer. And I'm going to show you guys something else that's pretty cool. Hopefully you haven't seen before. And it's going to be really, really cool in reference to this transaction cover sheet. But for now, we're going to go into the transaction cover sheet. We're going to put Joe Buyer. And we're going to say, since Joe Buyer is a buyer, I am going to set up his email with training@canear.com. All righty. And we're going to put Jill Buyer. All righty. And then we're going to put the same thing. We're going to put training@canear.com. And you notice something there. Once I had that Joe Buyer's information in there, the training@canear.com, it came up as a default underline, so it automatically added it there. Now, seller's information. It'd be great if they could pull that information over, but what I end up doing on that particular note is I'll go back over, I'm back on the MLS, I'm gonna click on the parcel number, and I'm gonna pull that information from what Realist Tax is gonna say that person is. Now, I know there's a couple of schools of thoughts on that. Some people probably are like, well, you know, that information can be inaccurate, and so I just put it as seller of record. Some even leave that field blank. I'm just gonna tell you what Curtis the Boss does. Whatever your broker says to do, you do that. But number one, I feel if I get an offer and it doesn't have anybody's information in it, then technically that's not an offer because the offer is made to nobody. Seller of record is a little bit better because, hey, I mean, at least it's talking to somebody. But I put in that information that's on Realist Tax because I believe that that information is probably going to be accurate, but even if it isn't, we can always do an addendum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut and paste, and there's two sellers there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the information from the first one. We're going to put that there. And then you'll notice that the address is already defaulted right there. Now I'm going to show you guys something if you don't know. You see how it's got the drive, then it's got to abbreviate it. Now, if I go back in and start putting in and changing that information, now I can click on Temecula and look, it puts the information there. I'm going to go ahead and put in an email address for them because I'm going to show you guys the whole process on how they can receive the email and the offer and everything like that. So we're going to have a buyer and seller transaction that I'm going to show you guys live. Now the next seller, of course, is Jocelyn. So I'm going to get rid of Aaron's information, and notice when I click on the street address, she comes up first as the default. If we move that around a little bit, now it's going to come in with the rest of that information, and then we're going to put her email address as the same. Now, you probably have been wondering if you've never seen this before, can you use the same email address? Yes, you can. If husband and wife share the same email address, no problem. When they get the email, the first email that's going to go out is going to go to the first buyer, and it's going to say, hey, Aaron, you got stuff to sign. And then once Aaron signs, it's going to say, hey, Jocelyn, you got things to sign. So we've got that information there. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep scrolling down. You're going to notice something. Did you notice now with MLS Connect, it already put in the MLS number, the street address, it put in all kinds of information. Now here on the cover sheet, you can put in some other information. You can put in the purchase price, the purchase agreement date, things like that, or you can actually put it in the RPA. It's just your choice on how you like to do that. I like to put on the RPA just to kind of do it on the face of that document, but you could totally do it here and it would carry over. You're going to notice also all of my default stuff from my template, but here's the really cool thing that I like about it. All my information is already there because that came from my template. All their information is there now. So if I wasn't teaching this in a class and I was just click, click, click and moving through pretty fast, I could pretty much have everything done and set to where I'm literally ready to move on to my offer page. And if I put everything here, I could even put in here my offer parameters, but I'm going to go now over to the California purchase agreement and I'm going to pull that up. But before we get into that, I'm going to show you guys something that's really, really cool. So if you guys have ever had a seller, and let's say that the seller was a trust, I'm going to show you something that's really, really cool here. So I'm going to go back here. And I'm gonna go to parties. Now, if you've never used the parties, then no biggie, but this is really cool because this is actually kind of a backdoor to your cover sheet. So you'll notice here I've got Joe Byer, I've got Jill Byer, I've got April J, Apple somebody, and then Jocelyn. Now, what I can do is I can come here and let's say that when we looked at realist tax, it said that it's in the seller's trust. And let's say that the listing agent said, hey, when you write up the offer, make sure that you have it as the such and such trust, but you know, so-and-so is going to sign. So you guys notice what I did. I'm going to go back through it so you guys can see here. I went to seller one. I'm going to go in here, and right here at this top part, you guys can see that I'm going to put here boss DOS. I'm going to make the middle family, and then we're going to go trust. Now I'm going to keep this email the same, but I'm going to go down here, and this is, and I forgot her name. We'll just, let me see here. Let me do this. Let me back up. I'm going to move you guys because you're covering where I need. I'm going to go cancel here. I'm going to save that information because what I want to show you is something that's pretty cool, or at least I think it's pretty cool. So we got Aaron. I'm going to move Aaron's information down to the bottom. So I'm just going to cut and put him down at the bottom. And you're going to see something that I think is pretty cool. So we're going to put Aaron down here, take all of his information there and cut it and put it down here. We're going to keep that email address the same. So I'm just going to copy that, and then I'm going to put this down here for Aaron. All righty. So up here, I'm going to put, so this is, you know, if you've got a trust or anything like that. So say that the property is held in a trust. Now you'll notice at the top, it says Boss Doss Family Trust, but at the bottom it says Aaron J. Applewhite. What this is going to do, and you guys are going to see this, is on the documents, it's going to actually say Boss Doss Family Trust. But when he signs, it's going to actually say Aaron J. Applewhite. So it allows you to correctly put the name of the true owner, but of course, you know, with the trust, then somebody else is actually signing. So I'm going to let you guys see this. I'm going to save that. We're also going to go in and we're going to alter Jocelyn as well. We're going to do the same thing with Jocelyn. So I'm going to move all our information down. So remember, the top field is where you want that name, whatever that trust is, but then the actual signer is at the bottom. And so we're going to see that in action. So I'm going to move this. Move you guys again here. We're going to put first name down here. Move Jocelyn's middle there. And last name there. And then we're going to put that down there. And then we're going to grab the email there. And we're going to copy that. We're going to put that down here. All righty. So now, we've got all that info in there. We've done that inside of the Parties tab. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. Go back to my documents, and we're going to go into the residential purchase agreement. So I'm going to bring that up. And it's thinking. So let me make sure. Let's see. So back to documents. I'm just going to click on documents and then residential purchase agreement. So the form is loading. And it is still loading. I'm going to go to the summary page, and I'm going to go back to documents and click on this again because it should be bringing my form up. So let me go back here. Parties, documents. I don't know if it's on ZipForms or not, but let's see here. See if I try to load another form. So, yeah, for some reason, I'm just going to go back to my list and then go back into it. So we're going to go back to Rainbow Creek here. Go back into documents and see if we can get it there. Not exactly sure why it is not loading that form because we should be seeing that form. Let me go back here. click on add document. Let's see if that'll change anything for us. So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna add a form. We're gonna act like we're gonna add a form. So let's add in a notice of unseen circumstances for coronavirus. All right, we're gonna go back out there. And again, have no idea why it is not loading that form.
Curtis, it might be in behind.
And I'm looking to see if that's the case, but I don't see it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and I'm going to go back in. So I'm going to share that with you guys, and I'm going to go back in the Transaction Center here, ZipForms Plus. We'll just reload that. Access ZipForms Plus. I'm going to click continue there. And bring that back up again, and hopefully, skip that. All righty. Let's see where we're at. Documents there. And because it auto saves, it should have saved all that information. Yay. So want to make sure, let me go back in here and make sure that you guys are seeing what I am seeing. So you guys are seeing now the ZipForms, right? Yay, Daniel. Okay. So now I'm going to go in here. You'll notice now everything's in there. Joe Buyer, Jill Buyer's in there. All my information. You got everything ready to go. And again, if I had come in and I had clicked on the cover sheet, things like the price and everything like that, that would be in there. But you'll notice the default boxes, the buyer and seller. If I had in my template clicked even that the seller is going to be represented right here, that would have automatically defaulted and checked those boxes too. But as you can see, a lot of stuff is already checked. The box for FHA is already checked. You know, not to exceed 5%, seller to pay $5,000 towards recurring and non-recurring closing costs. All of that stuff is automatically in there. Look at that. The environmental part of the NHD report, all the boxes are already checked. Look at that. Section 1 termite repairs, $500 for the home warranty. We want the stove. All of that stuff is automatically in there. So now with using a template and MLS Connect, marrying those two together, pretty much all you have to do is just pop in the buyer and seller's name and you are ready to go. So now let's talk about sending that over to the other agent. So if you've used digital signatures, fantastic. You guys already know this. If you haven't, then you're in for a treat, because especially during these times where people can't get out and about. So I'm going to show you a couple of things in the electronic signatures. And keep in mind, guys, if you did want to, let's say, you know, add in some information here, you wanted to add in some text. Remember, we've got our clauses. So we could always add in something here with our clauses. We could come in here and we could say, you know what? I want them to have a nice day, said Deborah Thomas. So boom, and there it is. Have a safe day. That's in there. Okay, so now we're going to go to the e-sign portion. So we've got e-sign. You're going to click on e-sign here. Make sure. Okay, so now here are the portion where you can sign the documents. Now you'll notice the first document that I was on, it gave it that name. So whatever document you're on, it's going to give it that name first, but you can change that information. I can come right here and change this. So now if I wanted to make this a memorable packet, and I know that this is the offer and that it hasn't been signed and things like that nature, I could change this. So I can say, you know, this is the California Residential Purchase Agreement, and I could put in here that it's unsigned. And right here, you'll notice I've got a button that says add documents. So from here, I can even add in the FHA via mandatory clause. I could add in this notice of unforeseen coronavirus circumstances. I could do whatever I wanted. Now, when I click there, you'll notice that these documents are there. But let's say that I wanted to add in another document that is a non-ZipLogix document. All I have to do is click here. And you'll see here where it says add external document, and it gives you some options of where you can pull that document from. So I'm going to go browse for document, and it's going to go to my actual computer. And then let's say I want to add in a termite report. So I got a termite report right here. So I'm going to put that termite report in there. And again, I can change the name of that, or I can just leave it the way it is. And that's the display name. So I'm going to click OK on that. And then I'm going to click close. Now you're going to notice here this drop down, ZipLogix Digital Ink 1.0. Tomorrow, there should be something that says Authentisign 2. But if you use DocuSign, if you're using ZipForms, it knows exactly where to put the signatures using DocuSign on the ZipForms library. Again, if it's something that you're adding, it won't know. So I'm going to show you guys also how to add electronic signatures, because now we have a document that does not have ZipForms automatic signatures on it. Now, while we're here too, you'll notice that I've got the documents and they're all lined up in a certain way. If I wanted to, I can drop and drag these documents and I can change the order of them. So if I want to change the order, I could now have FHA, a mandatory clause, as the first document in the lineup, or I could move back the residential purchase agreement back to the top. All right, so now I'm going to click next, and now I'm going to assign the parties. Now remember that we had the Applewhites, they were the sellers. Now, normally you're probably only going to be on the buyer side when you're doing the purchase. So you're not going to have the seller sign. You're probably going to just have your buyer sign. It comes back to you. And then of course you'll have it go to you're going to send it to the listing agent, and then they're going to take care of the side. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you both sides, but first I'm going to show you just from the buyer side. So from the buyer side, I can choose who I want to sign. So I'm going to go buyer 1 here. I'm also going to go buyer 2, but there's a place on the RPA for me to sign. So I'm going to click myself. Now you'll notice that I picked myself last, so it put me last. But what I like to do, and this is just me, I like to have it go to me first so that I know that it actually went. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to change that priority. So I'm going to click close here. And you'll notice that Joe Buyer is the first person to sign, Jill Buyer is the second person, and then I'm the last. I'm just going to grab me and move me to the top. So now I'm going to be the first person to sign. So it's going to go to me first. Once I get done signing, it's going to automatically go to Joe, and then it's going to go to Jill. And we're going to show you how that works. And so these are going to go to my email address and then the training@Canear.com. So I'm going to click next. Add peace of mind with 2-factor authentication. I always go, no thanks, because there's a cost to that, as you probably saw. It's about the same price if your phone goes off during an MLS meeting. It's about $5. So now it moved on to the second part, and it comes up and it says add signatures. Now I'm going to show you guys some cool things in here. So we know that the first few documents are already documents that have been added from the ZipForms library. So the ZipForms library has already put signatures where you need them. You'll notice Joe Buyer, Jill Buyer, they're all where they need to go. There's my signature right there where it needs to go. Okay. You can go through those forms and literally check to make sure everything's okay, but let me tell you, it's going to be okay on those. However, we get to my document, and you can do it 2 ways. You can say I'm scrolling through the documents and it's going to show every page. But if I just want to jump to the other document, I can just click on the drop down and I can go to termite report. So I'm going to go to termite report, and this is something that is not in ZipForms. So you notice on my termite report, there's no termites up in here on that house. So I can actually add in some signature lines here where I want my clients to sign. So if I want my clients to sign, I'm just going to click here on the drop down. I'm going to say Joe Buyer, and then I'm going to drop and drag, and boom, Joe Buyer is going to be right there. And then it automatically is going to put a date there for him. I also want Jill Buyer to sign. So I'm going to click the drop down, and I'm going to drag her signatures right there. Now, I'm going to show you guys a couple of cool things. Hopefully, if you did know, awesome. If you did know, hopefully this is going to be one of those aha moments. You're going to notice that I have a little pool right here. I can actually make Joe Buyer's signature bigger. I can move this date. So let's say you want the date in a certain place. I can move the date over. I can also move the date and make that bigger. But there's another cool feature here. There's a little button here, looks like a little gear. And you're like, what's that for? I'm glad you asked that, Patty Sather, because I'm going to show you. I can go here and I can say include a date field, or I can make this mandatory. So I can make this a mandatory signature. Now you notice by default, it is mandatory. So they have to sign here. So I want them to sign here. So I'm like, nope, you're not getting around that. It's going to come in real handy when I go to another form that I'm going to show you guys. So I can move these, I can manipulate these. Let's say that I also wanted to add in some text or some initials. So if I want to also have them initial it, I can just drop and drag. So there's Joe Buyer. Drop down here. I can now have Jill Buyer. And it catches up here. So we got Joe there, go Jill there. I can drop and drag. Got Jill Buyer there. But let's say I wanted to add in some text here. I can drop and drag some text right here. Now, here's the cool thing about that. You'll notice that Jill Buyer is the last person that I had selected. So this is going to go under Jill. So if I want to, I can have Jill do some things here. Now, I can just say, let's say I just want them to know that this needs to be signed. And I can make this read only because I'm just putting a note there. So I don't need them to do anything special. I'm just putting some text there. So I'm going to copy and paste this also down to the value line. And I'm going to go apply. Now look, and I can stretch this. And now that's just going to show up on the document. So if there's anything, if there's ever a document where you're like, you know what, I wish I could put some text in there, but it's a locked up form or something like that, or I wanted to add something in there, here's how you do it. And you can just literally put that wherever you want. And because I made it read only, there's nothing to do. It's just when Jill signs, it's just going to say this needs to be signed. So really easy, really cool, something that you can do there. You can also put check boxes too. So you can say, you know what, I'm going to need you to check right there. And guess what? I can make it mandatory, read only. I can make it a radio button, or I can make it default. It's already checked. So if I wanted to do this, and I could say, you know what, I want this mandatory because I want to make sure also that you saw that termite report, you know, and I can just put, you know, termite acknowledgement. So we can go ACK there. And then I can make that mandatory under Jill Buyer. So now that is mandatory. Jill has to check there. Cool. And there's some other ones, acknowledged or agreed. You could do that too, just to make sure they acknowledge it, you know, thumbs up there. So now we've actually added those signatures to a non-zip form document. And again, you're going to notice that the ones that it already knew to add, they're there. But let's say you wanted to move Joe's date to the actual date line. You can do that. Even though ZipForms has automatically put that there, you can actually do that. Now, I want to show you something that you've probably noticed. If I move and change the size of his signature or his date, the next time I add new signatures and dates, it's going to keep that new setting. So if you wanted to stretch it back out, you can just stretch it back out. And if I want to move, you know, wherever, if I want to have Joe on a different line or whatever, I can move, you know, the date over here. So boom. Now you're going to notice too, the seller says Boss Doss Family Trust. When we get to the other side, you're going to see that the actual seller's name is going to appear on the signatures, but not Boss Doss Family Trust. So again, if you ever had trust documents, you want to make sure that they sign as the, if you're the listing agent, it's in a trust, but you want them to sign their name, then this is how you do it. I showed you guys in the parties. So we're going to go ahead and send this. Says notice of unforeseen corona does not have at least one task. So you notice there, it says it can't send it because I've got a form in there that doesn't have a task on it. So I'm assuming because the coronavirus, that form is so new that doesn't have anything, right? So here is where I can drop and drag. So we're gonna go with Joe Buyer. We'll put him in there first. And we're gonna give him a task. So Joe, we need you to sign on that form. I'm gonna move his date over to there. And then I'm gonna go with Jill Buyer, and I'm gonna need her to sign. And I'm going to put the date over there for Jill. So now, shouldn't have any problems. And right here, you notice you've got your title there, and you could change that, but also you can put instructions in here. So you can say email, message, you know, this is the default, but you can actually put new stuff in there. You could actually change it or whatever you want to do. So you can click send there. And now this transaction is on its way. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over and I'm going to go to where I got the email at. And so you'll notice I'm the first one in line. And again, just my recommendation, if it's a document where you have to sign with them, put yourself in there first. So I'm going to switch over to my email. and I am going to grab that email and I'm going to go ahead and sign it. And so, as not to bore you guys with my email side, just trust that it is going to my email and that I am signing it. So I'm going to go here and I should have a message in my inbox that says, hey, Curtis, it's time for you to sign. And let's see here. And it is loading. And my phone just buzzed, so yep, I've got a document to sign. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and sign that document. So I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna do a new share for you guys. So just in case you hadn't seen this, so I'm gonna click share there, and then it says you are ready to sign. So I'm gonna click sign document. Now, Daniel, give me a thumbs up. Did it change my screen or did it change the screen? Yes, awesome. So again, you guys have probably seen this a gazillion times, but just wanted to show you guys for training purposes. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna accept the signature. Now, by default, I have a signature already stored in here. But if I wanted to, I could choose a custom signature. And I've got some fonts here. I can change the fonts. I can do whatever I want there. Or I can draw my own signature. Now, with a desktop or a laptop, which is what I'm on without touchscreen, that's not going to be the most favorite way to sign. However, if somebody wanted to, they could try to sign and do whatever. And I guess for authentication purposes, you'd be like, yep, that's definitely your signature because nobody else's is that ugly. So boom. And then I'm going to put CLD there. And I'm going to go, you know what? Let's go. Let's do it. So undoubtedly, that is my ugly signature. Now I've got some options here. I can review it or I can say go. Well, I created the document, so more than likely, I'm just going to click on go. So I'm going to sign everywhere that I need to sign. I'm going to click there. I'm going to click everywhere that I need to sign. And then once I'm done signing, of course, it's going to say finish, and it's going to let me know that that document is going out to now Joe Buyer at training@Canear.com. So now, if I now go over to Joe Buyer and go through his email, I should have an email that's going to say, hey, Joe Buyer has a document. So I'm going to actually go over to that particular screen and I'm going to check my inbox. And Daniel, am I still showing the ZipForms, right? Or am I showing my actual email? Yay, okay. And looky there, Joe Buyer, you've got a document ready to sign. So we're going to go in here and we're going to sign the document. Now I'm going to point out some things to you guys. If we were doing this and it was a listing, and let's say that you're having them sign the SPQ, which is what I'm going to show you guys on the SPQ. The SPQ, whoever is the first person, seller one, only they can check the boxes. So if you've got an SPQ or a TDS, just remember, whoever's the most responsible, whoever you think is going to actually get that thing filled out for you, make them seller one, because seller two, you're going to see, has no authority to check boxes. Once it goes to seller two, even if seller two is put up first as the first one in the signing order, only seller one can check that. I'm going to show you some cool things on that. So I'm just going to go ahead and click next. And then there's the default signature. I'm going to go, let's go. And we're going to sign that. And I'm going to go here. And I'm going to sign all the places that I need to sign. And then you're going to see where, with the termite report, I've added in those signatures. Just going to initial through all of this stuff. And you guys know that we have that optional clause here, the liquidated damages. Now, again, up to your broker, however they tell you to do it. But you guys do know that you have the ability to not make that optional. So, but we always want to, you know, keep that optional. They can opt in or opt out. But remember, you can actually go into the settings, and anything that you don't want optional, you can make that mandatory. So they're going to go ahead and sign there. Going to initial there. We're going to sign there. We're going to sign there. And sign there. And then you'll notice, so there's my termite report. So now I've got signatures on there. So I actually had them sign there. And then they're done. Because remember, Jill Buyer is the one that had the little checkbox and everything like that. Now, looking at my clock, it is 12 o'clock. So I'm going to give you guys, it's actually 12:04, 12:05. So I'm going to give you guys till 12:15. I'm going to take some questions. And so guys, take a 10-minute break. We'll be back sharp at 12:15. So Daniel, any questions?
None of the questions that we couldn't answer in the chat already, so you're good.
Yay, that's awesome. Cool, cool, cool. How you doing over there, Patty?
Oh, you're muted.
I'm gonna unmute you. How you doing?
There, I'm doing fantastic. What's yourself?
Doing good. Doing good.
Yeah, good. I'm seeing you guys.
What's that?
I miss seeing you guys.
I miss you guys too, but hey, at least we can meet virtually.
I know. Better than nothing. Thank God for tech, right?
Yeah.
That's
Awesome,
wonderful.
awesome. Jim, you're in the dark over there. Jim Arnett. How are you doing, Jim? You doing good?
Yeah, man.
All right.
Just a couple
There's
of
Michael
questions
Crawford. How you doing, Michael?
Hey, I'm doing good.
All right. Looks like you're in the mountains with palm trees.
Palm Springs. See the sign behind me?
I see it. Very cool.
Just a quick couple of questions that came through. So, Anne, you're asking about a recording of this webinar. Yes, we are recording it, and we will post it on the SRCAR Facebook, as well as an email that I'll send out to everyone with the link to the video. So you'll be able to replay this at your leisure. And then there was a question from Gladys. How does the seller check boxes online, the TDS and the SPQ?
Okay, am I muted, Daniel, or am I talking?
You're talking.
Okay, so that is going to actually come up. I'm actually going to show you guys that next when we come back from the break. And I'm going to show you something that's pretty cool too, as far as doing a share with those particular documents. So kind of give you a preview of it. There is a way you can share those documents, and then they're going to be able to go in and check the boxes. But what's really cool is in the event that they do not finish those documents, you can go in and remind them and say, hey guys, I need you to still finish filling those documents out. You're not done. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. Because again, that's something that we probably see more often than not when you got the SPQ and the TDS. Most people are like, yeah, I checked that. I've seen it, but we're like, yeah, but we need you to answer those questions. So a lot of times they do not answer those questions, and that's what we need. So yeah, I'm going to show you how to do that. And I'm also going to show you too, there's an alternate way, a more painstakingly way, if that's a word, to do it, to whereas, and I've already given you a prelude to it. You know how when you can click on the actual gears, you can make all those fields mandatory, but you don't want to have to go through that. So I'm going to show you guys how to do a share to whereas even if they're not done, filling it out, you can still actually have them go back in and finish it. So we will definitely cover that.
Excellent.
But great question. Very
Thank
good
you.
question on that.
You do have one more question here. It
Okay.
says, how do you move desired forms from a transaction that fell through to a new transaction?
Say that one more time, Daniel.
How do you move desired forms from a transaction that fell through to a new transaction?
Oh, okay. You know what? I will actually, while we are waiting, I will show you how to do that. So let me see here. Let me go back in, make sure I'm still in my ZipForms. Okay, so ZipForms Plus. For some reason, I think it kicked me out. Let's go back in. Let me make sure too, Daniel, that I am sharing the proper screen with you guys. So the screen now should be coming up with ZipForms, correct?
Yeah, you're sharing your entire screen, so we see all the windows.
Okay, so I'm gonna go here. I'm going to move you guys up to here. Go back up here. Okay, so say if you had a transaction that fell through, okay, well, first, if you guys didn't know, you can actually label transactions and you can actually give them some titles. And you can close them, kind of, do whatever you want with them, put them in different categories. So I'm going to move you guys to the side so I can get to where that is. And right here, you've got copy. I can copy this transaction, and I can, when I say copy it, I can, it'll ask me for some parameters. So we're just going to click on that. And you see where it says include forms, include other documents and PDFs, include notes and checklists, include signature packets and everything like that. You can literally do that. And then right here at the top here is where I could name it, like, you know, back alive or something like that. And you notice you've got a status here. You've got active, pending, inactive, fell through. This is where you can actually click in and say, yep, it fell through, but you know what? We breathe life back into it, and that transaction is going to go. And so when you do the copy function, you can literally decide what you want to copy into it. Copy the listing and property information, the purchase information, include all the forms or not. So did that answer your question?
Waiting for the chat. Peg, hopefully that was good information for you. Did that answer your question okay? Yes, it did. Thank you, Curtis.
Awesome, awesome. You're welcome. The next thing that we'll do when we resume back again is now we're going to work with the sellers, and then I'm going to show you guys, of course, how to have the sellers fill out the TDS and SPQ, and then you guys will get to see that feature too, whereas you've got the one name on it that says the trust, but the persons who's actually assigned to the titles are going to sign differently. I'm also going to show you guys how to incorporate your call log and your communication log basically into the transaction, because you can actually have every communication and the documents stored in ZipForms, which I think is pretty cool. That's a really cool feature. So I'm going to go back over here. So we've got the templates. We've got MLS Connect covered. Hopefully, if you guys, again, hadn't seen MLS Connect and seen that in action, hopefully you guys see that that's a very valuable tool. I love the way it just brings everything in so you don't have to type all that in. And again, that coupled with templates, it just makes things so much easier. You literally only have to add in buyer's name, seller's name, and then, you know, your asking price. And you can have a template made for everything else that it will automatically just cover. It'll actually copy over into the transaction. And we did documents with non-zip forms. So yeah, we'll actually cover the sharing, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So we've got about 2 more minutes and we'll jump back into it. Is everybody awake out there? There should be a reaction button that you guys can click on and give a thumbs up or a high five or a hand clap, or you can just do the visual. Okay, so Michael Crawford, yeah, he's got the hand clap there.
Great class. Really enjoying it. Thank you.
Why, thank you. Who said that?
Kim Teese.
Kim Teese. Well, thank you so much, Kim. You can probably tell I don't like teaching that much, huh?
You look like a natural.
Why, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yep, love teaching, love spreading information. And with this platform, I'm like, yay, it makes it so much easier. So wave of the future, love it. All righty, for those of you who are probably making a sandwich or something, but you can still hear me, we got about 1 minute. So send that last email, drink that last cup of coffee. I'm drinking a Starbucks double shot, and as you guys out there who know me know, I'm already animated, so this just takes it to another level. And just a couple of things here for those of you who are still with me here, just some extra stuff there. You've got your RPR. You could actually pull up an RPR, which is your real-time property resource. I'm hoping you guys use that, but you can actually pull up an RPR property, even on your phone. And if you link your RPR to your zip form, which is very easy, just go into your settings on zip form, you can actually once you put up the RPR property, send it straight to ZipForms. And it'll incorporate all the data through ZipForms too, which is really, really, really cool. And let me see here. And so you'll notice when I clicked on RPR, it just started logging into RPR. And there it is. There's the information in RPR right there for you. But you could even go backwards and you could have it listed in RPR, and then you could actually turn it into a zip form transaction. You'll notice right here where I'm hovering around, if you clicked on zip form transaction, it would throw it into ZipForms and make a transaction from RPR. Wow. Just a little extra nugget there for everybody that came back early. All righty. So it's 12:15. We're going to get back into it. I'm going to go there. We're going to go back into ZipForms Plus. I don't know if it threw me out or not, but even if it did, we're just going to go back in. So we're going to sign back in there. All righty. So now we're going to look at the seller side, and we're going to look at the forms. And again, if you wanted to make a template for the seller side, you could. And all of the forms that you normally use for the seller side, the TDS, the SPQ, the SBSA, the WCMD, all those things that you normally would have in there, you can have those forms inside of your template. So we're going to work with the same transaction that we have here. I'm going to pull back up Rainbow Creek.
Real quick question for you, Curtis.
Yeah.
Peg was wondering what percentage is using the COVID forms?
You know, it's hard to say because I know that the CVA form came out about 2 weeks ago. These last 5 forms came out, I mean, within the last week. I got a email stating that we had 5 new forms in addition to the CVA form. So honestly, don't know. One of the ones that I thought was intriguing, and I'll actually show it to you guys, it's in my PowerPoint presentation. There was one about the rent being late. And so for your property managers out there, it's an interesting form, but it actually says April's rent is going to be late. And so it's not even a drop down date. It's automatically present day, knowing like this virus is going on right now, and hardwired into the contract, it mentions April's rent and May, and it doesn't even give you a drop down. So that's very current. I've never seen a form that already had the date already in it. Like, I already know I'm going to be late, and so don't be bothering me. So I'll show you guys that. But yeah, to answer your original question, don't know how many people are using it, but I would like to say that I would like to see, you know, more people using every form that we have available. And that's one of the other things I'm going to show you is an actual library of some forms that maybe people don't know about. So good question. All righty. So now we're going to move into the seller side. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to click on documents. And here's my summary of documents. So I've got my actual offer there, but now we're going to do a little hybrid. And now I'm going to start adding some forms because we've got the seller. So I'm representing both the buyer and the seller. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to start putting in some seller forms. So I'm going to put in the SBSA. If I could spell there, SBSA. So I'm going to put in that one. I'm going to put in the TDS. I'm going to put in the SPQ. And I'm going to put in the WCMD. And I'm just throwing some stuff in there. I mean, you guys, of course, you know, there's more that you can put in there, but this is just for now for training purposes. So I've got these forms in here. So right here, you'll see where you're in the documents and everything right there. I have my forms lined up. I can sort these if I wanted to. So if I wanted to, I can say, you know, sort by the most recent. So you'll notice now it's showing my most recent forms in there. So my most recent one, the WCMD, SPQ, things like that. I'm going to show you guys before we even send those out to the sellers, some cool stuff that you can do. So right here on the left-hand side, you guys see where that says share? I'm going to click on share. And I'm going to create a share with my sellers. So here's my list. I've got seller 2, and seller 1. So I'm going to go seller 1. I'm going to go seller 2. I'm going to click on done. And right here, seller 2, I want them to be able to edit the forms. If I want to, I could even have them where they can upload forms. So let's say I need something from them, like, you know, can you send me over those repairs that you said were done on the leaky roof? Can you send those to me? Because I want them stored in ZipForms. So I could even have that, or can view history and things like that. I can even set a stop sharing date so that they no longer have access to the file on a certain date. So I'm gonna say, you know what, boom, you can edit forms. Well, which forms can you edit? Ha ha. The TDS and the SPQ. Now I'm giving you the power to do that because I know you're going to just check, sign the form, and you're going to send it back to me blank, and I'm going to be irritated and say, ugh, I got to send it to them all over again. Well, what this step is going to allow me to do is let them put in some stuff, and if they don't finish it, it's going to save the changes, and I can resend it to them, but the changes stay, and I'm going to show you guys that. So I'm going to say they can edit the TDS and the SPQ, and I'm going to go save and send. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to send them an invite and say, hey guys, you have been invited to collaborate on this folder. So I'm going to click send here, and then I'm going to switch over to the email that actually shows where they've been invited. So to make sure that I open that window, and let's see here. So I'm going to go into that folder, and for the sellers, that is offers at Canear.com. So let me make sure I'm in the right folder here. So let me sign into the offers one. So let me add in a new sign in here. Move you guys over to the side just a little bit, and we're going to go to add another account. We're going to offers. Now, I apologize. I thought I had that screen already up so I could just jump right in there, but looks like for some reason I signed out. So we're just going to get back in there really quick. So it's loading that up. And Daniel, do you see my email? All right. So now you see Curtis Dawes has sent you over collaboration. So they can view the document. Now they've got a little code here. It's right here. I'm going to highlight this little code right here, and I'm going to paste that to my clipboard. They're going to click on view document. When they come in, it's going to allow them to make a username and password. I've already made one, so I've already have one. I'm going to move my little window here. I already have one for offers, so I'm going to sign in here. Oh, let's see here. Make sure I get that password in there. I think it stored a different password. All right, let's just create an account. Let's do that. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna just create a password. And this is what your sellers would be doing once they got this invitation to collaborate with the documents. So I'm gonna go ahead and create there. And it's saying I already have an account, so I'm gonna continue with this email. And sign in. If it'll let me sign in there. Oh, wait a minute. The selling agent. And then go here. So I'm going to go create there. Sellers, that's offers. Create this password. All righty. So it's thinking, and we're not going to save that. And then it says here, I have read the agreement, the end user license agreement. So I'm going to click yes, that I have read it. And I'm going to come here and click continue. Now, they're going to notice that they have some documents here that I've invited them to share. What are those documents? the TDS and the SPQs. Let's look at the SPQ. So they can come in here now and they can start checking stuff. So no. Now, you notice what happened there, guys? That pop-up, editable by seller 1. Remember I told you guys that only that first person in that transaction can do anything on that, whoever is seller 1. So I shared that with seller 2, but they can't do anything. So we're gonna go here. And I'm gonna move this, move you guys slightly out of the way there. And I am going to close out of this, and I'm going to add in seller 1. And they can edit. Let's see here. Let me move this little box here first. And it should let me set that up with seller 1. Let me make sure. Go back in here. I may have to clear that share and stop sharing it with seller 2. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing with seller 2, and then we'll create a new share so that you guys can see it. So seller 2. The system catches up with me. Alrighty. And you notice I can stop sharing with them too. I can say, you know what, I paused the sharing. What I'm trying to do is to get seller 2, trying to remove that share. Been a little bit slow. But what it should do is let me pick seller 2. There we go. All right, delete share. And now I'm going to create a new share here. And we will go with seller 1. Bing. I'm going to go done there. And then can edit. I'm going to go next here. And then we'll put the SPQ, the TDS, save and send. I'm going to click send there. And then we'll pop over and we'll pull up that email. And we'll show you what the seller 1 can do. And then I'm going to show you how, even if the seller 1 doesn't finish things, you can still send out that SPQ or TDS or whatever and make them finish signing that. So there it is right there. We've got view document there. And it should just sign me back in since I already made that account. But if it doesn't, we can just do that all over again. Alrighty. And we move your screen here. So I guess each time you stop the share, it wants them to create a new password or a new account. So no worries, we can do that. I'm gonna rearrange the screen here again and go in there, create a password and create, continue. And we'll go in and I'm gonna accept the agreement here. And I'm going to click continue. And now you're going to see that seller 1 does have the ability to go in and click things. And then I'm also going to show you how. So seller 1, no, 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 no. We're going to click just a couple. So let's say seller 1 goes in there and they're like, yeah, I'm just going to finish a couple of these things. And then we're going to say Daniel is Awesome. We don't know what that has to do with SPQ, but we're just going to put that in there, right? All right. So they go in there and they're filling out the form, and then they go and say, you know what? Okay, I am done for now. I need to take a break. So they click on save. All right. We're going to go back over and go back into our form and go back here and go back into our documents. And then if I go to my SPQ, look at there. No, 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 no. And Daniel is awesome. And check this out. I can't even touch that. Even I can't touch that because your client has already answered those questions. Now, let's send that form electronically to both parties and let's see what happens. So we've got our SPQ there, it's ready to go. Okay, now we're gonna choose our parties. And this time we're gonna go with our sellers. So we've got, and I apologize, I'm moving the screens around because the little taskbars and the pictures keep being in the way. So now we're gonna go to seller 1 and we're gonna go to seller 2 right there. And then I'm going to move your screen again. I'm going to go close and I'm going to go next here and I'm going to go no thanks. And then as it thinks, I want you to notice something that's pretty cool too on this screen. So now it's going in, and of course it always gives you guys the opportunity to, you know, mess with this if you want to. Check this out, guys. You notice I can't even touch those now. Those are still hardwired in. They've already been answered. So even I, as the agent, cannot change those because they've already answered those. So the only ones they can finish answering now are those. So now, if they don't finish that SPQ, I can resend it. And each time they make updated changes, I can keep saying, try again. And try again, you're still not done. But now I don't have to send them the SPQ all over again because those changes have been made. And so Daniel is awesome, it's set in stone. You can't change that. Daniel is gonna be awesome the whole transaction. So you'll notice too, like I said, there is another painstaking way. If I really wanted to go through every one of these boxes, I could go edit, and then I could make it mandatory, but who's gonna do each and every one of those? It's better, at least in my opinion, to just keep sending it to them until they finally get it right. And again, send that to the most responsible of the two parties that you know is going to do it. So you're going to see it's going to go to seller 1, and you're going to see seller 1 has the opportunity to make some more changes. But when it goes to seller 2, they have no jurisdiction. So again, just make sure you send it off. So now we're going to go to our emails, and we're going to actually pick up those links. So let me get back over to the email and go back in here, go back to my inbox, and I've got documents ready to review. I'm going to click on sign the documents. I'm going to go back in now, and then you're going to see the changes. So again, that share function is extremely cool. Now I know there's some other schools of thought too, maybe, you know, sit down with the clients, go through it. Yep, no problem there. But in the event that you can't get to them, especially in the times that we're dealing with right now, you know, hey, this is probably the best way. So did you guys notice instantly, I can't even go back up here and change these. But as seller 1, I can go in here and I can check these boxes to whatever I need to do there, you know, no, no. If I go yes, then explanation, boom, and then I can do all this stuff. Now again, I'm going to leave some things unchecked. So I'm going to be the lazy seller again, and I'm going to say, you know what, I just want to initial this because surely I don't need all this stuff. I mean, you know, I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and sign here, and I'm like, okay, seller 2, you're up, because maybe I'm thinking the seller 2 can answer some of these and I don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to go back to my inbox and give it a little second here. And you notice it's first going to thank me for submitting my signatures, but it's going to go to that same email address again. So we wait a second here. And then now seller 2, you're ready to sign. Seller 2 is going to sign in. And seller 2 is going to be like, okay, well, let me see what I've got to do here. And once seller 2 gets all signed in, you're going to see the seller 2 can only just sign and they can't do anything else to the transaction. So they're going to go there. And as you can see, these are all grayed out. There's nothing they can do. They can't change any of that. But you see the new changes that were made from seller 1. So those have already been changed and everything like that. So we're going to get out of that. And let me move my little window here. So I'm going to leave that. I'm going to show you guys something else that I think is pretty cool. So I'm going to move this here. I'm going to go back and scroll back down. So I'm going to click back there. Okay. I'm going to go back to our summary screen and I'm going to show you something that I think is really nice. You see right here where it says email docs to transaction. You click on this. This does something that I think is really unique and it's probably a very underused feature that you have in ZipForms. So I'm going to click on email docs to transaction and you see this little pop-up here. If you cut and paste this little ID here, so I'm going to copy this to my clipboard. I'm going to close out of this and I'm going to go over to my email and I'm going to compose an email. And in this email, I am going to write to my client. So I'm going to say, write to offers@canear.com. I'm going to write to the buyer and seller. We're just going to use it as a little training deal here. Now, if I add in that email address, the one that I just copied and pasted right there, right? And I'm going to put in, this is a test message. And I'm going to go testing, or no, let's see here. Making sure that everyone on this Zoom call is still awake. If I don't see you laughing, it's because you're not listening. And I'm even going to attach a document because I want you guys to see how cool this is. So I'm going to attach a document and I'm going to go with that termite report. So I'm going to put that there and I'm going to click on send. Now, this is the one feature that takes a second, so it might not instantly pop up, but looks like on my phone it may have popped up. So I'm going to see here. But if I go to my documents, what I just did was something that is really cool with ZipForms. I'm going to keep refreshing the screen so that hopefully it'll pop up and show you guys. But what it should have done is, you see where I've got this archive box here? It should have created another box called inbox. And if every time I send an email, I copy it to that email address, it should add that in to my ZipForm transaction because each transaction has its own ID. So I can literally keep track of every email that I sent back and forth, and even the document is going to be attached to that. So once it shows up, and like I said, that's the one feature that seems like it takes a little bit of time, but I'm going to keep refreshing. And once that box actually shows up, I'm going to show you guys. It's actually really cool that you can actually email straight into the transaction. I think that is awesome. But like I said, it takes a while. I'm checking to see. Looks like on my phone, it's giving me some updates that something new is popping up. So we're going to keep checking that.
While we're waiting for that, Curtis, you might have asked a question.
Sure.
So Ken was asking, will the seller who does not make the changes become aware of changes that the other seller might have added to the form?
So if the other seller automatically signs and puts their initials on it, you can have it set to whereas, you know, you can have it go to them to like re-sign, or if you want, you can just have it go to seller 1 because seller 2 really can't do anything on their own anyway. So I would recommend every time, like if you have to keep resending it, send it back to both parties just so they both acknowledge, yep, here are the changes that are made, even though seller 2 can't do anything about it. So to answer your question, I'm going to keep going back here and seeing if we've got anything in documents, because like I said, eventually it's going to add a folder called inbox. And like I said, it's really cool. It's one of the really cool features that you see on there. While we're waiting on that, I'm going to show you guys some other cool stuff. So in the libraries, I mentioned to you guys that I'm going to show you guys some libraries maybe that you didn't know about. So I'm going to go over here to all forms again. And on all forms, you're going to notice right at the very top, you have the California Association of Realtors library. If you've never clicked on that drop down and see what else is in there, I'm going to show you some really cool stuff. So I'm going to go down to CAR sample letters. Now check out some of these titles. Abandoned personal property commercial letter. Abandoned personal property residential letter. So let's add that in. So we're going to take a look at that. Access to premises letter. Acknowledgement of non-tenancy form. Acting against broker's advice. That sounds like a good one. Let's add that one in. Buyer's intent to proceed with transaction. Confirmation of conversation. Maybe in this day of non-communication, maybe we need one of those. Demand seller to close letter. So we're going to pull up some of these and I'm going to show you. And these are libraries, letters that are in your library. And again, I'm going to show you where I got that from. All I did was clicked on right here and I selected CAR sample letters. These are sample letters that have been created by CAR attorneys. Now there are disclaimers at the beginning of the letter that say, hey, you know what, even though these are letters that are, you know, made by CAR, you still want to talk to your broker before sending these letters. And some of these letters are pretty scathing. They're pretty angry, but I think they're designed to get the point across. So we're going to check out some of those. So we'll go with, let's go with abandoned personal property. So for all you REO agents out there and you got a property and somebody has left some stuff in there. So check out this form, abandoned personal property. And it says there's a sample letter, notice the agent and broker. And here's that disclosure, that disclaimer there. Attached sample letter is being made available to you as a courtesy by the California Association of Realtors. CAR does not represent, warrant, guarantee, blah, 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 blah. So drops down here. You notice it already has my information in there. It has the office address, has Joe and Jill Buyer, has their address, and it says, when you vacated the premises, describe above the following personal property remain. And you can just type in. When you left the premises, you left this, or you can see an attached list. You may claim this property at this address. If you claim the property by certain date, then blah, blah, blah. But how cool is that form? A form that's already written up for you guys that you don't have to hassle with or wrestle with. And again, if you haven't viewed this library, there are just a ton of cool letters that have already been written there that can pretty much express how you want to get your point across to whoever it's intended for. Here's one, notice to lender of buyer's intent to proceed with the transaction. So they're like, well, you still want to move forward on this short sale? Okay, well, yeah, boom. Bank name, date loan, estimated, estimate issued, things like that. Just some really, really cool forms that are in there. I'm going to show you another library that's in there. So you have a foreclosure prevention library. So I use this library a lot when I was dealing with short sales, but one of the coolest ones that I like was the foreclosure timeline. This one was really, really a nice form. And so I like the way it laid everything out. So you check out this form, and this is something that you can actually, you know, send to them. And so it lays out, okay, guys, here's the timeline. Here's what you're looking at. Notice the default, and then it gives this chart, which I thought was so awesome. And so it's got all the information there, but then there was another form that went with it. So foreclosure or short sale. So if you're thinking, you know, I'm going to let them have the house versus doing a short sale, check this out. It's already been done for you. Foreclosure on the left, short sale on the right. So here are the pros and cons, and it literally lays out everything, and it shows them that it's way better to do a short sale than a foreclosure. So for all you short sale guys out there, if you did know this was in the library, hopefully that's another one of those aha moments. And then there's, of course, some other things in there. There's NAR realtor forms and templates. San Francisco, their association has their own little library. Well. So I guess SRCAR, we got to jump on that. But just wanted to show you that library that's in there. I'm going to double check and see if our folder, phantom folder showed up. Like I said, that's the one thing I know that takes some time to show up. So let me go here. I'm going to go back to the list. I'm going to go out and go back in. But what should have happened is it should have actually sent me an email and sent it to the folder. and actually put that document in there. So I'm gonna go back to my documents here and see if that inbox folder. So nope, still not in there, but my other libraries are in there. Trying to think if there's anything else that I can share with you guys. That I think would be useful for you guys. There's checklists, which the checklists, that could be a whole nother session. I've actually made checklists and they're phenomenal. They actually will allow you to set up static dates and actual relative dates to where certain things happen at a certain time. So they're really, really cool. And maybe if you guys are really interested in that, maybe I can put a class together on that. Maybe if you want to put that in the chat window. But again, that could take some time, but it's a really cool way of doing things as well. Let me go back here. Just want to make sure that folder has not finally showed up, because I really want to show you guys how that shows up. And then of course, anytime that the documents are signed completed with ZipForms, it makes a folder and it'll show all the documents in the folder. So if we did a completed set of documents, it would make that folder. And so that I can show you. In fact, maybe I have a file where I can actually show you what that inbox looks like. So let me go to another one that I was kind of playing around with. And I think it will have a box in there so I can show you guys, so at least you can see it. So yes, so this particular transaction, eventually there's going to be a box that's going to show up and it's going to say inbox. Now in that, it's going to actually show the email that you sent. And there it is. There's the email that I sent. That was earlier this morning, just a test email. Has the content of the email. And you notice you can actually download that. You can print that. You can do whatever. And then it even has the document that I sent with the email. So if I wanted to actually look at that document, there it is. There's the actual termite report. So I emailed that document, that I actually sent that email into the transaction. And it actually stored it inside the transaction. So again, another feature that I think is amazing that probably isn't being used to its full potential. It's a great tool. So we're gonna go back into our transaction and see if perhaps it might have shown up. I guess worst case scenario, we could even do another test email to it.
Where do you get that email address, Curtis, for the to email the document
sure.
for the transaction?
So I'm going to go back to summary. And when you go back to summary, if you click right here where it says email docs to transaction, you click on that, it's going to come up with a little window there. And we'll walk back through it again. We'll send another email. So I'm just going to cut and paste this. You could actually compose an email to from this, but I always like to just go to my actual email account. So we're going to compose that again. And then I'm just going to put in some other recipients, but then we'll also put in that particular email. So, and then we'll go offers at Canear, and then we'll actually put in that email address, and then we'll put second attempt. But let's try this again. And we're going to attach a document. So I'm going to move this up here. I'm going to put that there. And we will put that right there. And we're going to click on send. So we're going to try to send that out and see what happens. Now, last but not least, we're going to go through the last part of the PowerPoint, and that is the new forms. So make sure, Daniel, do you see my PowerPoint with the forms? Okay, so form number 1, car form CVA. So you guys have probably seen this form. Hopefully you have. If you haven't, and this is new news to you, then hey, there you go. So this form says it's a form that's incorporated and made part of the purchase agreement or checkbox, and then whatever else that you want to point it to. And you've got the date there, and it says this is an amendment to the already accepted agreement. So I like that verbiage. Hey, you've already agreed. Now I'm going to add some more stuff to it because these are uncertain times. So it talks about COVID-19, and it talks about the extension of times and mutual cancellations and how there could be some issues. So it addresses those. So if you guys have not seen that form or used that form, I highly encourage you to go into the libraries and get familiar with that form. That's the CVA form. Another form I want to show you guys is the notice the tenant of ability to pay rent. So for all you property managers out there, you're going to notice here, you got the agent, you've got the broker, and then it says, that's the the COVID-19 is a pandemic that has great impact on all of us. And then in response to the federal, state, and local governments, they've taken action. And then it drops down and it talks about that if you have a COVID-19 related inability to pay your current rent, please contact your landlord or property manager immediately. So for your property managers, you might want to, get that out there. The next form that comes up, the notice of unforeseen coronavirus circumstances. You look at the top there, it says in accordance with the terms and conditions of the coronavirus addendum, so it's pointing back to the CVA, dated blah, 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 the affected party, either the buyer or the seller, hereby gives notice to the other party as specified in the CVA of the following unforeseen circumstances. So it says loan. Hey, guess what? Because of loss of income, might not be able to get that loan. Or because of the COVID virus, the notary may not be able to show up on time, or the lender may delay due to unforeseen circumstances. Then it talks about the shelter in place and the stay-at-home order. Home inspections. I just recently had a home inspection last week on a property, and the home inspector told me I nor the listing agent and the seller couldn't be there. So I went in after and did my avid, but the home inspector was the only one that could be there. So things like that. Movers, hey, the movers may not be able to be on time. So it's giving everybody notice that there are unforeseen circumstances due to these uncertain times. Personal impact, and it talks about that. Confirmed diagnosis. So some people out there may have been diagnosed and confirmed with the COVID-19, and that could definitely cause an issue. And then it gives some information, an area in section E, more of an explanation of what could have happened. So that's that form. The other form is Form PEAD, Coronavirus Property Entry Advisory and Declaration. So this one, again, I love any form that we have that is a risk management type form. The more risk that we can take off of ourselves as agents and off our brokerages is fantastic. And so this one starts out and says, hey guys, there's a risk of exposure. This is a pandemic. It's a worldwide risk to human health, and it's highly contagious, and it has a mortality rate many times greater than the flu. So contrary to what, you've probably been hearing, how flu and slips in the tub cause more accidents and things like that. Well, I've never seen anybody buying up all the toilet paper because somebody slipped in the tub. Just my 2 cents. But anyway, so back to this form. This form talks about real estate activities as essential services. So it points that out, but it goes through and it gives a lot of disclosures, which we didn't have to think of. The powers that be have already thought of these things. They've already addressed these things. And so I highly recommend that you guys use these forms. That's what they're here for. The next one up is the residential listing agreement Corona addendum or amendment. So this talks about that this is an amendment to the already existing listing agreement. And it talks about property showings. And if the seller does or does not agree to allow prospective buyers to view the property, due to the coronavirus. And it also points back to the PEAD form. It talks about property showings. It addresses pre-sale and post-acceptance activity, talks about the broker's marketing plan, and then it continues on page 2. And then of course you see there, you've got some signature pages and additional terms there. Next form is the RPD, the Corona Rent Payment Delay and Repayment Agreement. This is the one I told you was very date sensitive. I've never seen a form more up to date in my life. And like I said, if you go down to, well, we'll start at the top and then we'll get to section 4, the part that I think is pretty interesting. So let me go back here. So at the top of the form, it talks about that the following terms and conditions are hereby incorporated or made part of the residential lease or the month-to-month agreement. Rent paid delay notification. Tenant has informed landlord that tenant is unable to pay. And so that would have been in connection with and in conclusion to the other form where you sent out to the tenant and said, hey, if you can't pay, let us know. So this is kind of an answer to that form. It says rent payment delay notification, and it talks about due to COVID-19, and it says tenant's notification received by the landlord on a certain date. And then it says tenant stated reason for rent delay payment. So it's not like they can just say, you know what, COVID-19, yeah, can't make my rent. gotta give the landlord a little bit more than that. Proof that tenant is unable to pay rent. And then on section 4, the amount of rent that's being delayed. And this is where I said it got very specific. The rent that is due for the month of April. And you'll notice that's hardwired in. So it's like, yes, this is happening right now. And it also may carry into May. Now, I love the foresight and the optimism of this form because it appears, at least in my opinion, that in June, things are going to be great. So it says repayment plan in June. So I'm like, okay, great. So apparently this is all going to be fine by June 1st, or they do give the option that it may go on a little bit longer, but I'm liking their optimism and I'm praying that that is the case. And then on page 2, it continues on and it's got signature lines there and it's got additional terms. And those are your forms. Now, and much more is, I covered the libraries and things like that for you guys. If you didn't know that those libraries were there, like I said, hopefully that was exciting for you guys. I'm gonna see if my document ever showed up with the inbox. Yes, yay, there we go. So inbox. And gonna go back and let's go back here. And so that's the one that this is the test. Make sure that everyone on the Zoom call is still awake. So as you can see, it actually put the email and the attachment into ZipForms. So another cool feature that I think is awesome. So for those of you who, let's say maybe you use Gmail and you're like, okay, but how do I download and keep all of my communication logs with the file? Well, guess what, guys? Just copy and paste that actual transaction ID. And now every time you send out an email, back and forth communication, put that in there. And now you even got your communication log all stored in one nice and neat place. And like I said, as you can see, you even have your attachment right there. But it does take a little while. So I don't know if it's being scanned or what. But there's also for you faxers out there, if you still fax and if you still have a fax line, I don't know if you noticed, but there is also a fax docs to transaction, and it'll actually come up with the cover sheet, and it'll have like a barcode, and it'll actually, if you fax it, it will actually to that transaction, it will know to store that in your transaction. So, you know, you fax to that number and it will actually put everything in ZipForms for you too. So for those of you who still fax, you probably still also have a beeper, but we're not mad at you. We know technology moves at different speeds for people. So looks like we're at 12:57 as promised. If you guys got any other questions, I'm gonna stick around for a while. Hopefully there was at least one aha moment for you guys in there. Glad. Thanks. I see thumbs up, Michael. Thank you so much. I'll unmute you, Michael, if you wanted to say anything. So you're
I'm
muted.
just glad I attended. I got a lot of good stuff out of this.
Glad
Stuff
to
I
hear
had
it.
no clue about. So,
There
thank
were
you.
a couple text questions from the chat. Ken
Okay.
was asking, is there a form to send other agent to confirm the RPA performance dates?
Oh, so I do believe there is a form in there, and it is a form that talks about that the at least that the offer has been presented. Let me double check on that. So car sample letters, and let's see, access to premises, acknowledgement of non-tenancy. Let's see here. It'd probably be under like the word proof. So let's see here. Request to participate in presentation. Demand that seller vacate. There's the one, demand that offer be presented to seller. Demand for full commission, demand for buyer's deposit. I don't know offhand, but here's the other cool thing about it. You guys can create your own form, and then you can actually store that in ZipForms as even in a template, and then you can add the electronic signatures. But I don't know if there's, as far as timelines, I do know that there is a, I want to say it is a D and C form under your regular library, but it talks about how you're going to communicate and how the flow of communication is going to work. And that's one of the forms that you can actually put in at the beginning of a transaction. Let me see if that's, it's about the communications, but no, I don't know if there's a particular form in that library that has that. And that's consent for communication. And I can't remember for the life of me what the the name of that form is, but it's a
I think it's the DNA.
DNA. Yeah, there you go. Is that the one? Deliver your notices addendum. Yeah, and on that one, at least it kind of sets the stage and says, "Hey guys, this is how we're going to communicate," and these are the forms. If I text you, I'm going to text you at this number. If I email you, it's going to be emailed at this number, and it kind of just sets the stage. And did you guys get a chance to see when we did the sellers? You saw how the seller signed one way, but then the name with the trust showed up another way. Wanted to make sure that you guys saw that, which that was one of those aha moments when I was in the training a couple of days ago that I never knew you could do that, but it's done under the party stamp. So I thought that was really, really cool. So
Perfect. Thank you for
awesome.
that. And then Deborah also had a question.
Okay.
She was wondering, should we use the COVID-19 forms with third-party vendors that may be entering the property?
I definitely would. I've always said that I've never heard anybody get in trouble for over disclosing, but I've definitely seen people get in trouble for under disclosing. So I would say, yeah, anybody who is willing to sign it, that way they have been officially put on notice. So for third party vendors, I would say absolutely.
Very good. And if anybody else has any questions, you're free to unmute yourself at this time and ask Curtis directly.
And any aha moments out there, love to hear some feedback. If there's anything that you guys think could have been included, or if I went too fast, I say all criticism is constructive criticism. So I love feedback. Can only make me better.
Very informative, and you presented it really well. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you did an amazing job, Curtis, as always.
Thank you, guys. And you know what? I want to do one quick thing here before everybody signs off. I just want to really quickly, if everybody will just join me in a really quick prayer. I want to make sure everybody's safe. So if you guys will just join me really quickly in a prayer, I just want to pray. Heavenly Father, I pray that everybody out there is protected from the COVID virus. God, I pray that you keep a hedge of protection around us. We know that nothing surprises you. And so we know that even this too shall pass. And we know that you saw this coming, but only you know the ultimate plan and what's going to happen in the end. And so we just thank you for protecting us. And I pray protection over all my fellow realtors out there and all their transactions. In Jesus' name, amen.